Eberflus to keep his job. The continuity element is important. The team is showing me that they're not quitting on Matt Eberflus, which is what you wanted to see. If they're somehow, some way able to get 3 more wins, I would be standing on the table that Matt Eberflus should keep his job.
That table broke.
You were saying, TT? Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm hearing things. Matt Eberflus, Chicago Bears, what a day they had yesterday. And by that, I mean he may have lost his job yesterday. The Detroit Lions win 23-20 over the Chicago Bears. The Lions were up 16-0, 23-7, and the final was 23-20, which means even though the Lions have won 10 in a row and the Bears have lost 6 in a row, they came back, the Chicago Bears, with a chance to actually win this game. 2nd and 20, Detroit 35-yard line, 36 seconds left. Caleb Williams gets sacked, -6 yards, and somehow with a timeout in his pocket, Matt Eberflus doesn't call it at any point. They run one final play at the Detroit 41-yard line. It goes for naught, and they don't even get a field goal attempt off. CC, from your perspective as someone that played 11 years in the NFL, walk us through, as best as we can here, the X's and O's of circumstantially what happened. In other words, a sack happens. What are you supposed to do in that spot? And then what are you supposed to run after the fact? Walk us through this moment by moment at the end of this 3-point win by the Lions over the Bears.
Any negative play during a 2-minute drill, when you're down, you have to take the timeout. In that situation, especially when you're in plus territory, because you have to try to preserve the opportunity for points at the end. So when they took that sack on 2nd down, it should have been an automatic timeout, get everybody in the huddle, get everybody on the same page in terms of trying to get a short completion, receiver getting down so that you can give the ball to the ref, they can spot it, and you can run your Mayday field goal team on from the sideline. That is absolutely critical. So that timeout after that negative play is an opportunity for everybody to regroup, both on the field and on the sideline, so you can execute an end-of-game situation where you can get points to tie the game and to send it in the overtime. For them not to even have an opportunity to kick a field goal or throw the ball in the end zone, it's just absolutely egregious. It's a fireable offense by Matt Eberflus, and that's why the Chicago Bears today should do what they've never done in the 100-plus year history of the franchise, which is fire a coach in the middle of the season.
Okay, more on that in a second. Just one thing. I want to go through the math on this if we could, because I think, listen, all of us are sitting there stuffing our faces in Thanksgiving yesterday, friends, family, God willing, if people have that to celebrate with, and you're there and you're watching the end of this game. So 32 seconds to go. They have the football after he got sacked. That's the moment you're saying call the timeout, right? At that moment, because of the negative play. You're saying the general rule of thumb is negative play in that spot, call the timeout. Okay, 32 seconds to go. They run the team on the field. They have to throw to the middle of the field because the sidelines are then taken away. How many seconds are coming off of the clock? Let's say they're doing a little seam route to Cole Kmet, the tight end, right in that spot. Let's say they get 5 or 6 yards, whatever it may be. How many seconds are coming off the clock? 10 seconds off the clock. So now we're at 22. How long does it, and we're talking about if they get, let's say they get a 6-yard completion, they're at the 41, that's the 35. So then we're looking at a 52-yard field goal, something like that. How long now at 22 seconds does it take for the field goal unit to get onto the field, no timeouts left, to attempt the field goal?
You're usually talking about 15 seconds in that spot. Mm-hmm. So you're right up against it if you're Matt Eberflus.
But you still would have 7 seconds to spare, in essence, based on our math right now, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then it would basically be attempting a 52-yard field goal, loosely, with 7 seconds to go. You think that's a better option than throwing it up to no one? With the timeout in your pocket?
One would think so, but here's what I don't understand. Why is Matt Eberflus trying to defend the indefensible at the post-game press conference? If I'm a player in that locker room, that is absolutely infuriating to me. We have this huge comeback against the best team in football. We've got momentum on our side. We had the negative play with Tevin Jenkins with the hands to the face. Okay, he's trying to do his job. Stuff happens, especially in the trenches. But you follow that up with an egregious play call where it looks like you're running a quarterback draw, but the offensive tackles don't block anybody. They count it as a sack. Anyway, it's a huge negative play. They compounded it by not taking the timeout. They got cute in that moment. They got to the line of scrimmage. You can hear Caleb Williams talk about the mechanics of the operation and trying to check and get to the right play. And they wasted 26 seconds between the sack and when they eventually had the clock stop until they snapped the ball. They wasted 26 seconds from when he was sacked to when they snapped the next play. I can't explain it why Matt Eberflus wouldn't make that clear to his quarterback that you got to do something. I can't explain why Matt Eberflus didn't take a timeout himself. It just doesn't make sense. And that's the part where you feel like the head coach is out over his skis.
I'm so glad you brought up Matt Eberflus's defense of that terrible clock management late in the game, CC, when he said that they, quote, handled it the right way, because this is another reason why they shouldn't bring him back. Having a 5-19 record in one-score games with last night's game being or yesterday's game, excuse me, it was the earlier game, being the cherry on top of these one-score games that don't go the Chicago Bears way. When you then get to the podium and you defend it, you double down on it, saying that you did the right thing, you handled it the right way. How are you supposed to think that he's going to be able to get the locker room on his side after that? There's just no way.
I don't understand how he can't answer this. We're going to play this cut in a second, but let's just play out. There are very few things in life I think I'm actually good at. I think answering questions like this would be one of them. Smalls, please, as the reporter here, as you've been many of times, can you ask me, Matt Eberflus, the question, and I'll give you how I think he should have answered it about that last play.
Coach, what happened at the end of the game?
We didn't put ourselves in a position to win this football game or tie this football game. That is absolutely 1,000% on me. We ended this game with a timeout. That is on me. I did not give the team an opportunity to kick a field goal to try to tie it. That is on me. I did not give the team the opportunity to try to win it. That is on me. What happened at the end of the game is inexcusable. The moment I leave here, I need to revisit what just happened here and do this better the next time I have a chance to do it.
Coach, what's your message to your locker room, who's obviously frustrated after a loss like this?
They did a hell of a job coming back in this football game against an awesome football team, and I let them down at the end of the game, which I can never do again. Here's what Matt Eberflus actually said.
I like what we did there. Again, once it's under 7, you're gonna call timeout there, or actually under 12, and then really you don't have an option, because it's 3rd to 4th. You got to throw it into the end zone then. So to me, it's I think we handled it the right way. I do believe that you just re-rack the play, get it in bounce, and call timeout, and that's why we held it and didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
I think I did better than he did. I got to be honest.
I'd say so. Yeah, I can't believe he wasn't more apologetic. I can't believe he didn't go up to the podium saying, I need to take accountability for this. It's the only way. To try to double down and defend your decision making there, it just blows my mind. I don't know what he thought the benefit of that would be. And if he thinks that he's somehow smarter than everyone else, that we didn't all watch the game, that the players weren't on the field being a part of this in real time when it went down, I don't know how he thought that he could explain his way out of this one, and that anything other than saying, this one's on me, I take full accountability, was the right answer.
But here's what I don't understand, those Smalls. It was one of the most improbable comebacks that we had seen. The Detroit Lions, who are universally regarded as the best football team in the NFL, left the door open for the Bears to tie the game or potentially beat them. Mm-hmm. They had a missed field goal from 45 yards out by Jake Bates. They had a 3-and-out possession, which gave the ball back to the Chicago Bears with 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Now, granted, the Bears got the ball on their own 1-yard line, and they would have had to go 99 yards for a touchdown and around 50 yards for a field goal. But still, you had an opportunity, and you had timeouts in your back pocket, and yet somehow, some way, you mess it up after you get the ball on the plus 25-yard line. The Bears were better off losing by 20 than they were losing the way that they did yesterday. Because everybody could understand the Chicago Bears being overmatched by the Detroit Lions. Nobody can understand how the Chicago Bears gave a game away in the fashion they did yesterday.
I'll go one add-on to that, CC, in terms of the Lions giving the Bears the opportunities. How about in the first half when there was Jahmyr Gibbs' fumble?
Yeah.
Like, they were destroying
and they were going in.
Yeah.
They were going in. Yeah.
That was another opportunity. Now, Caleb Williams is a rookie, 22, 23-year-olds, if that, quarterback, who's in his first year in the league, who's gotten better seemingly over the last 3 weeks in a big way. Here's what Caleb had to say post-game about not getting the chance to tie the game with a timeout in his pocket late in that football game.
In that situation, I'm living with the call. And I'll let, the coaches and everybody, make that decision, depending on whether it's time, depending on whether it's, the guys running back and, they're far down the field. Whatever that situation is, that's going to be coach's call. Maybe in the later years of my career, but right now, I get the call. I'm trying to lead the guys to win, and I'm trying to get everybody lined up. And, from there, I'm trying to make a play for the Chicago Bears.
So essentially, I don't have enough tenure to override what I would deem to be a bad decision. Maybe later in my career, I would have enough juice to change the play call, but right now I don't, and I have to go with what my head coach says.
Yeah, but hold on, though, Smalls. I can't let Caleb Williams off the hook, too. Because, when he got sacked, there were 32 seconds left on the clock. All of the Bears players were back at the line of scrimmage and set with 13 seconds to go. They didn't snap the ball until the game clock was at 6 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing?
That
Why are we being so
issue
cavalier in that situation? Like, here's the thing. Matt Eberflus should have taken the timeout, but Caleb Williams absolutely should have snapped that ball a lot quicker than he did, understanding time and score. What are you doing? And here's the thing. It's not as if that's the first time we saw that with Caleb Williams. We got that from him last week in overtime when he took a sack in a situation where you can't take a sack. So a part of this is rookie learning. He's going to have to figure this out. He's going to have to grow. But in order for that to happen, he's got to have a head coach that understands how to put the team in best position to have success in end of half, end of game scenarios. And it's clear that Matt Eberflus can't do that. We've seen it time and time and time again. The Chicago Bears don't need to see nothing else.
Yeah.
The best thing they can do as a franchise right now is fire Eberflus.
Just to that point about Caleb, and we'll pick up on the Eberflus part of it in just a couple of minutes here in terms of what happens next, because there's a 10 a.m. Eastern press conference that he's supposed to have in his day after. I think what you said is dead on, CeCe. Like, I did not understand all of the hand motions that Caleb had when he got to the line of scrimmage with 13 seconds. Like, you can't audible.
We ain't got time for that.
Just go.
We ain't got time for that.
Wing it. Like, go back to USC. Wing it. Like, in that moment, like when everybody says play on schedule, he's got to play on schedule, like CeCe says. No, that's actually the time to play off schedule. Get the ball and do whatever the hell you want with it, like you're playing flag football on Thanksgiving with your friends and family. You just got to get a play off within 3 seconds, get out of bounds, or not even, or get enough time in that spot to call the timeout after that to give yourself a field goal. Period. Next sentence. I did like what he said post-game relative to that's not up to him. He's a rookie quarterback, right? That's really not up to him in that moment. All right, we're going to continue this conversation because what happens today, right? We have a football game today between Kansas City and the Raiders, but that game may be trumped by a headline coming out of Chicago because maybe, possibly, this could be Matt Eberflus's last day as a Bears head coach. We'll dive into that coming up. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
This week on Football Sunday on ESPN Radio.
The things that you need to win a championship in this league. The LA Chargers, they got all the elements.
Justin Herbert leads the Los Angeles Chargers into Atlanta to face the NFC South leading Falcons.
This is gone for the Atlanta touchdown.
Coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern with kickoff at 1 Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
Can't be home for the game?
Caught for the touchdown!
NFL Plus has you covered with live, local, and primetime games on the go.
What a game he's had.
On your mobile device, you can access live, local Sunday afternoon games and all the primetime action from Thursday night football, Sunday night football, and Monday night football.
Tonight was definitely their night.
Sign up for NFL Plus today at plus.nfl.com/radio. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Tim Onstad, tell me how you're doing at Dedicated Diesel and the Dixie Chopper. You have any late model deals here I can make?
Yeah, there are fall deals on everything. We've got 3 or 4 used machines in there that Andy's looking to get rid of. We still have some new models, very few, limited of those, but those are going to be at the lowest prices that you can get. If you give us a price and it's close to what our dealer invoice is, he'll go for it.
Okay.
We'll do that and get rid of it.
Good time to buy then.
It's a great time to buy. Best prices you can get, and if you need service, now's the time to bring them in to get them serviced and get ahead of the rush and get ready for spring.
Gail Frericks Trucking, can people apply just to give you a resume?
We actually are starting a waiting list now for drivers for our regional van over the road. We've got a good group right now, and we're blessed with it.
What's the location?
1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. You can get Andy at 217-328-0562. They can reach me at the office at 765-793-7131.
The University of Illinois Police Training Institute is celebrating 70 years with a bingo night at the Elks Lodge on Saturday, November 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. The Police Training Institute's 70th anniversary bingo night, Saturday, November 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Elks Lodge located at 903 North Dunlap Avenue in Savoy. To register for this night of bingo, food, prizes, and fun, visit pti.illinois.edu and click on the 70th anniversary tab. The City of Urbana invites you to the 3rd annual Trees and Lights from Around the World event in downtown Urbana. Happening daily from December 7th to the 21st from 12 to 4 p.m., you'll experience trees and window art displays that tell a unique and beautiful story. Enjoy vibrant Urbana during their Trees and Lights this holiday season as you check out local shops, art galleries, diverse cuisine, and tantalizing drinks. Create memories with family and friends with the City of Urbana.
Channel 80.
Gotta hurry it up. 7-6. Takes the snap. Caleb Williams from the pocket. Sings it down the field. Twisting, turning inside the 5 as time expires.
We're there in the moment. We just got to handle it better. It starts right here. It starts with me.
You know, I just realized something.
Go on.
Yeah. Now, Nuno, our producer, is not here today. He's off.
Coward.
Okay. Nuno and Cece, as Giants fans, kind of getting off easy today. Because of Eberflus's ineptitude, we've kind of ignored the fact that the Dallas Cowboys got a home win yesterday against the Giants, 27-20, and the Giants have now had double-digit loss seasons in 9 of 11 years, and this is their third 2-10 start since 2017. And that's back burner.
Well,
and we're going to get back to Eberflus literally in a second. I just had to slip this in to find a spot for it today.
I don't want to detract from the Giants getting the airtime that they deserve after their performance yesterday. But you know who else is getting off easy today? The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, Jordan Brooks, their linebacker, called them soft. We have in-house soft name calling. We have a 10-loss start to a season within 12 games, and neither of those two teams, those are the Dolphins and the Giants respectively, are the hot topic today because of what happened at the end of that Bears game where they're down 3. What?
Isn't that so illustrative of how bad the loss of the ending of the Bears game was?
They're down 3. They have time and a timeout to go, and they can't even get a field goal attempt. I'm sitting there in my house yesterday with my entire family there. We had 23 people, not including the firefighters that showed up. If you missed any of why the firefighters showed up, you can go back on the podcast and listen back early this morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. That is a true story. And a couple of people there are like, so how do you go through like the prep for your show and like these games and everything like that? I'm like, well, I don't really have to today, even though I'm going to. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what just happened there with the Bears? That's what we're going to talk about. Trust me.
That's the show.
That's the show. I'm obviously going to do my notes, as you guys know, and you guys do, we all do. But that's the show because that was so inept. And it caused David Kaplan, co-host of Cap and J Hood, ESPN 1000, to join us earlier today here on Unsportsmanlike and say this about Matt Eberflus not being able to get a field goal off for his team with a timeout in hand late in that game against the Lions and what should happen with Eberflus.
He is incompetent. His coaching career should be euthanized by 9 a.m. this morning. He has no business being a head coach in the National Football League. And I know CC said the players are playing hard. We have a pretty darn good roster. We do. And we have an emerging star at quarterback who would go 1-1 if the draft was held again today. That's a fact. This man needs to be given a box with a check. Get out of our building. Don't ever, ever darken its halls again. He's not fit for the job.
Okay, David Kaplan, ESPN 1000 in Chicago. We love Cap. We could sit there and debate the Caleb Williams 1-1 all day because I don't think it's
a little rich on that one now.
And listen, they have every right to love Caleb right now, and they should.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
There's a lot to like.
And that's actually not even for today. I just had to point out the obvious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I got to say this. I just got to say this to that point, though. We can't say that Caleb Williams is walking into the best situation that any number one pick has ever walked into. And then we're talking about the coach being fired and two other quarterbacks in the rookie class that are playing have their team in the playoffs if they started today.
Yeah.
Just going to put that out there.
Yeah, and listen, nobody on this show has said that Caleb can't be great, and I think he already is pretty damn good. I think he actually has looked like a number one overall pick. The amazing thing about this year's draft is there's two to three other guys that maybe have looked like more of a number one overall pick. So, you have 3 to 4 number one overall picks in normal years performing at that position this year. But let's get everybody up to speed on this part of it, because when he said he should not walk in here at 9 a.m., what he meant was 9 a.m. Central Time. There is supposed to be a press conference with the head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus, in the day after presser. What's your gut feeling, guys? Smalls, is he going to have this presser today? Is he going to make it to that time, or are we going to find out from Shefty at any moment now he's bounced?
I think I would be very surprised if Matt Eberflus is the person that comes to the podium for the scheduled press conference today, because I think the Chicago Bears are going to be forced to do something that's the antithesis of what they've been, which is firing a coach in season. I don't know, after the result yesterday and subsequently what we heard from the players, that you can bring him back. When you have players saying we did enough to win the game, that's an indictment on your coach. And the whole reason you brought him back was because he was able to get the players to rally around him and play hard at the end of last season. I don't see how that happens. Also, let's be crystal clear on this one. This is a business. This is a business, and you have to satisfy your customers. And that doesn't mean making any rash decision whenever the fan base is upset, because if so, you'd be firing everybody all the time. But you had a gray area about Matt Eberflus last season. You elected to bring him back, and it hasn't necessarily gotten any better. And you have a real opportunity here to alienate your fan base by bringing him back for the remainder of the season, because I don't know if after what we saw yesterday wasn't enough for him to get fired in season, he's probably going to be the coach for the remainder of the year. And I don't think the fan base is going to take too kindly to that.
Yeah, Matt Eberflus should be fired. There's no question about it. He should be gone today, not tomorrow, not Sunday, not Monday, today. Now, to sit here and say that I'm confident that will happen would be me having to give the benefit of the doubt to the Chicago Bears, which have not shown themselves to be a functional franchise. And I do want to point out that this whole situation with Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles has seemed incredibly incestuous. Like, they have the same agent. And oh, by the way, Shane Waldron, former offensive coordinator, same agent too, Trace Armstrong. So there is a part of this where the powers that be in the front office want to give the benefit of the doubt to Matt Eberflus. And I don't understand why you have to continue to give this guy more runway, where he's showing you week in and week out that he's out over his skis in terms of his ability to do the job, to manage the game, and put your players in situations where they can have success. And most importantly, job number one, develop the rookie quarterback. He hasn't done those things, Smalls. You can point to all of the game management gaps, whether it's the Washington Commanders game, whether it was yesterday's game against the Lions, whether it was the game last week against the Minnesota Vikings, and you're looking at all of the mistakes that the head coach made. And if he doesn't make those mistakes, the Chicago Bears record potentially being flipped. They're at 4-8. They could be 8-4. That's the most egregious part of it. Matt Eberflus is 5-19 in one-score games. The worst record of any coach in one-score games. You can't make it up. He has to be gone. He can't do the job. He's not going to be a part of your future. Why allow him to further impact it by keeping him as the coach to the detriment of the first overall pick, the future of your franchise, Caleb Williams.
A reminder, tune in for a football doubleheader Sunday as the Falcons host the Chargers, followed by the Bucs and Panthers. Coverage begins noon Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. Coming up, what happens if they lose? We'll find out next on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio, fresh from knocking off Alabama, the Oklahoma Sooners head to Death Valley to face LSU.
It will be Saturday night in Death Valley.
Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern with kickoff at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN, presented by Dr. Pepper. Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Max Bankman, I'm the new doctor.
Welcome aboard the Odyssey.
ABC Thursdays.
This ship is heaven. We're tending to our passengers' dreams. I'm in.
From 911 executive producer Ryan Murphy comes a splashy new drama on a luxury cruise ship with Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson.
It's your job to keep everyone alive.
She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse.
You're going to be okay.
Dr. Odyssey. Thursdays, 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards RealFit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Jesse with Lands Underground Solutions. When it comes to your septic system, trust the team at Lands Underground Solutions. Our septic specialists have been working in the septic industry, installing and repairing septics in Central Illinois for over 40 years. When it comes to your septic system, trust the team at Lands Underground for repairs, maintenance, or replacement of your septic. Lands Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
Don't let the chilly weather keep you from having fun. Warm up with exciting activities instead. Registration for Champaign Park District's winter and spring programs is now open, with activities for all ages, ranging from sports and fitness to cultural arts and special events. There's something for everyone. Whether you're looking to learn a new skill, socialize, or just have a blast, their activities are designed to inspire creativity and expand your horizons. Stay active and engaged all season long. Visit champaignparks.org for details.
Hi, Randy Graham here with Curtis Orchard. Thank you for giving us People's Choice Awards, including Best Pies and Bakery. Speaking of pies and bakery, it's time to place your holiday orders. We sell so much this time of year that we need your order now so that we don't run out. Donuts, fritters, pumpkin bars, and pies, they all make the holidays special. Not sure of your plans? Buy frozen pies to bake as needed. Order online at curtisorchard.com or call 217-359-5565. See you soon.
Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circus Sports Illinois. Circus Sports, it's betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circus Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com.
Must be 21 or older. For Illinois Problem Gambling Services, please call 1-877-968-7848.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Shop Dell Technologies' Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
I think it's time we asked ourselves this question.
What if they lose?
What could happen if they lose?
That's a great question.
On Unsportsmanlike.
We continue to ask that great question with another round of what happens if they lose here on Unsportsmanlike. Cece, let's start with you. Eagles at Ravens. Ravens -3. This is a potential Super Bowl preview. What happens, though, if the Ravens lose?
If the Ravens lose, then I think that opens the door for Saquon Barkley to actually win MVP. We haven't seen a running back do it since 2012, but if the Eagles win this football game, then they're going to be right there with the Detroit Lions, keeping pace for the number 1 overall seed in the conference, and they'll run away with the NFC East. So, yeah, I absolutely think that it's on the board that Saquon Barkley, a non-quarterback, can win MVP for the first time in over a decade.
If the Ravens lose, there would then become a chance that they are the lowest seeded AFC team this year. Think about it. The Steelers are ahead of them in the division right now. The Chargers, who they just beat, are 7-4, but have the Falcons this weekend maybe get to 8-4. If they lose, the Ravens would be 8-5. And the Broncos have the Browns on Monday Night Football. They'd be 8-5. The Baltimore Ravens will not miss the playoffs because I don't believe in Indy, Miami, or Cincinnati outside looking in. Mm-hmm. But they may have, by seed, the most difficult road to get there.
Yikes. All right, next one. 49ers at Bills. Bills -7. Ev, what happens, though, if they lose?
Nothing. Like, literally, I think nothing. I'm not dismissing the question. I'm saying if they have a hiccup against the Niners on Monday Night Football, okay, maybe they don't get the 1 seed. I'm confident they're going to get the 2 seed. I'm confident they're going to run away with the division. And I'm confident they have every bit as good of a chance as anyone else to get to the AFC title game.
So it won't impact your confidence in them at all?
I don't think so. No, I'd have to see the way the game plays out, but I really don't think so. I think they are so ahead of a lot of different things right now that I would look at them and say no big deal if they lose, as odd as that sounds.
Nah, I disagree with that because they still got to go on the road against the Detroit Lions. And if they lose this game, you could be talking about them dropping out of contention for the 1 seed and being the 3 seed. And there's a difference when it comes to what happens when you've got to play against those upper echelon teams. If the Baltimore Ravens win their division, they've got that head-to-head win against the Buffalo Bills. And remember what happened when Buffalo went to M&T Bank Stadium. So I absolutely think this is a game that the Buffalo Bills need to make sure that they have wrapped up, if for no other reason to guarantee that they hold on to one of those top 2 spots in the AFC playoff picture.
I agree. They don't need to mess around. Next one, CC. Seahawks at Jets. Jets +2. What happens if they lose?
What happens if the Jets lose?
No, the Seahawks.
Oh, okay. If the Seahawks lose, well, then I think it ends up being a seesaw race for the NFC West between them and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we saw them take the Cardinals to task at home, so we'll have to see how that plays out down the stretch. But I think it opens the door for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals to win that division, and it calls into question whether or not Geno Smith is the long-term answer at quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks.
Can we play out your initial reaction for a second?
Well, what happens if the Jets
can
lose?
we just have fun with that for a second? Are they ever going to consider benching Rodgers again? Like, what's the point? And I don't think Jordan Travis, their third-string quarterback, is healthy enough to play, unfortunately. But just, end this. I kind of think in Rodgers' dream world right now, he'd get cut.
What?
Yep.
Why? That would be embarrassing.
Not really, because if he ends up on another team and could actually perform better, I don't care what he says.
But where would he end up?
Well, there would need to be a quarterback injury, obviously. Purdy looks like he's playing this week because that's the one that everybody thought. I don't know where the obvious, maybe Dallas? McCarthy? Rest of the season?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being dead serious. If you told Aaron Rodgers you lose on Sunday, on Monday the Jets release you and you could sign anywhere you want in the league, is he happy or sad?
He's probably happy.
Thank you.
You think so?
He's probably happy, yeah.
Because he's the martyr. They got rid of me. I did everything I could. I'm playing through injury.
I enjoyed my time in New York.
Yep, not with the Jets, in New York.
You don't think, though, that there's a part of him that's like, how could they do this to me? I'm Aaron Rodgers.
That's a dream scenario for him. He becomes a sympathetic figure in his own mind.
And it becomes same old Jets.
Yep.
Interesting.
You bring in Rodgers. He can't play physically the first year because unfortunately he gets hurt. Not his fault. He doesn't make it through the second year. You get rid of him. You bring in Rodgers. You give up all this money, these resources to get him. You bring in all of his guys, and he doesn't play one full season.
Oh,
both in total games combined over 2 or over the course of 1. I actually think a dream scenario for Aaron Rodgers is getting cut on Monday.
If that were to hypothetically happen, and he doesn't play one full season for them in his Jets tenure, and they gave him the keys to the kingdom, they built all of this around him, let him bring in his buddies.
Look at what you're doing. You've already, this is exactly what CC and I are saying. You've now turned on the Jets and not him. Look at what just happened here.
You're right, I did.
You just went after the organization and not 8.
Well, he's culpable, don't get me wrong.
We had to get you there.
But they let him.
We had to just get you there, Smalls.
Wow.
Think about it.
You're right. Maybe it is a dream scenario for him.
I told you.
Okay, next one, CC. Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings minus 3.5. What happens if they lose?
Ooh, if the Vikings lose, then I think we're taking a closer look at Sam Darnold, and we're saying this guy's about to turn into a pumpkin. And conversely, we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals as a team that could pose some problems if they were to get into the postseason. So I think the first thing that we do is look at the Vikings and Sam Darnold as a team that could potentially turn into a pumpkin as we move closer to playoff football.
Cosign, retweet. Nothing else to add. Perfectly said.
Okay, next one. Ev, we'll start with you. Raiders at Chiefs. Chiefs minus 13.5 in this one. What happens if the Chiefs lose?
They go to 0-1.
Because now their season starts?
We are after Thanksgiving. When you are as great as the Kansas City Chiefs are, as Coach Belichick always says, the season starts after Thanksgiving. When you're at that level, the Chiefs start their season 0-1. Then we could start to maybe possibly be 1% concerned. We still have 99% to go, but we could be 1% concerned. And since they lost the same kind of game last year on Christmas to the Raiders as well.
I think that it's a situation where you'll never doubt the Chiefs, but they have a 64% chance of getting the number 1 seed with the win against the Raiders today. Now that drops to 38% if they lose to the Raiders. So I think it's important this year, more so than last year, for the Chiefs to end up with the number 1 seed so they get a bye week and they get extra time to get some of those guys healthy, guys that they've been waiting on like Hollywood Brown. Take a game off of Isaiah Pacheco down the stretch. Take a game off of Travis Kelce down the stretch. I think this season is where the Kansas City Chiefs really probably need to have a beat while we go through the wild card weekend to give themselves a chance to refresh and get ready to try to three-peat. So I think it's absolutely important that they stack the win just so they can hang on the pole position of the AFC number 1 overall seed.
Side note, I think they're going to crush the Raiders today.
Because of the comments made about Patrick Mahomes in the offseason?
And because of last year and because the season starts today and Pacheco's back, I don't know. I feel like they're going to crush the Raiders today.
If in back-to-back weeks they play it dangerously close against the Carolina Panthers and then somehow lose to an obviously inferior opponent and the Raiders, will your perception of their chances of getting the job done this season change at all? No. Okay.
Sorry.
Good talk. Good talk. All right, last one. CC, Michigan at Ohio State. Ohio State minus 19.5. But what happens if they lose?
Oh, if Ohio State loses, they firing Ryan Day. He's done.
After the game?
He's done. I don't know if it's after the game, after the playoff, whatever. They firing Ryan Day. He's gone. There's no shot. If in the post-Jim Harbaugh era of Michigan, you still can't beat Michigan, that's a problem. You got a $20 million roster, and you're making $10 million as the head coach. I mean, if they lose this game, being nearly 3 touchdown favorites by Vegas, if you're the athletic director of Ohio State, you walk into Ryan Day's office and you fire him immediately.
If Ohio State loses this game to Michigan, it's national championship or bust. If they go to the national championship game and they lose to Oregon, they lose to Texas by 1 point on a controversial call, he still gets fired.
He still gets fired.
You can't do both.
No.
You he could beat Michigan today and lose to Oregon in a title game. He's not getting fired. If you lose to Michigan, you immediately trigger he's got to win a title.
Or else.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, TC had him fired today.
You're not wrong.
They can't lose to Michigan. They can't.
Especially when the line's that big, that would be so embarrassing for Ohio State.
It'd be 4 straight losses to Michigan.
Wow.
You can't lose to Michigan. You cannot lose to Michigan. Not this year. It can't happen.
Totally agree. All right, coming up. So we've talked a lot today about the Chicago Bears, as you would expect. There's one team that is kind of sliding under the radar. We will dive into who that is and what could happen with them next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
The College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio.
College Football Playoff is expanding to 12 teams.
Touchdown! Unbelievable! The home field advantage, too, in that first round. We have dreamt of this situation.
The College Football Playoff, Round 1, December 20th and 21st on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC. More on Sportsmanlike, coming up next.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Thank you for choosing 2 Men in a Truck. How may I help you?
Hi, I have a strange question. I need help getting my holiday decorations from storage, and then I need to rearrange my furniture for our upcoming parties. Can you guys do that?
Oh, that's not strange at all. 2 Men in a Truck has completed over 10 million moves. We can deliver your decorations right to your doorstep. And of course, our moving experts can help rearrange your furniture for your holiday gatherings.
Not sure how your move is going to work? Go to 2meninatruck.com for your free estimate.
Streaming December 2nd, only on Disney Plus. From the creators of The Mandalorian and the director of Spider-Man No Way Home comes a brand new series.
It's dangerous out here in space.
Join the crew.
We have to move fast
as they explore the galaxy.
We're not alone down here.
Don't miss the new Star Wars adventure.
Do you want to join me?
Skeleton Crew, streaming December 2nd. And now save big on the Disney Plus Hulu bundle with a Black Friday offer.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio.
Pick 6! Oklahoma building the lead. Wow!
Fresh from knocking off Alabama, the Oklahoma Sooners head to Death Valley to face LSU.
It will be Saturday night in Death Valley.
Oklahoma at LSU.
Go!
Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern with kickoff at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Let's go for it.
Tuesday on the NBA on ESPN Radio. It's a mile-high clash between two of the NBA's best.
Jokic straight away for 3. Jokic, have a start.
Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets face Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors in an NBA Cup showdown.
Steph Curry about 35 feet from the hole.
The Warriors at the Nuggets. Coverage begins Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern with tip-off at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Monday Night Football heads to the Mile High City.
Myles Garrett and the Browns pack their high-powered defense for Denver.
Sacked by Garrett.
Where rookie Bo Nix leads the Broncos, hoping to round up a win in his Monday night debut.
He's got it! And a beauty from the rookie.
Browns-Broncos, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
With play action, screen, tipped up in the air and intercepted by Overshown. Running right to the goal line. Touchdown. Back to throw on 3rd and short. Got a man. Brandon Cooks crossing right to left into the corner. Touchdown. Victory formation on 2nd down. And that's it. And the Cowboys are going to win on Thanksgiving Day.
We just got to stay the course. I'm hopeful that because of the way we worked and the adversity that we're going through, that our best days are ahead of us.
105.3 The Fan in Dallas. Cowboys victory over the Giants. Think about how bad Eberflus and the Bears were late. That the Cowboys on a 2-game winning streak with a backup quarterback and the New York Giants at 2-10 and the Miami Dolphins' own team calling them soft are such secondary stories today. It is remarkable. Let's start with the Giants side of it. So this game, 27-20.
Do we have to?
Listen to the moan. Listen to the moan. CC said no. If you just isolated CC up until that point of this segment, it's
He's been avoiding it for a long time. CC's been avoiding this for a long time. This has to be painful for you, CC, as a guy who has contributed blood, sweat, and tears in order for that organization to win a championship. For them to be this bad and be the only team seemingly in the National Football League that can't win in Jerry's world, that has to be tough.
Okay, wait, before you answer that, let me just give the setup to really drive the knife in. So 27-20, the Cowboys beat the Giants. The Giants are now 2-10. They've had double-digit losses in 9 of the last 11 years. They are 2-10, I believe, for the 3rd time since 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Drew Lock played for the injured Tommy DeVito. He was 21 of 32, 178 and a pick, 4 carries, 57 yards and a touchdown. What a quarterback depth chart. You had Lock, Tim Boyle, and Tommy DeVito. It reminds me a lot of Montana, Young, and Bono. I mean, very similar to the Niners in the 80s and 90s there. And this Giants team is terrible. We know that. They're 2-10. Dallas actually gave them an opportunity late after the Giants came back. Mike McCarthy with a gutsy play call on a 3rd down, throwing the football to ice the clock. If that's an incompletion, who knows what happened? CC, the state of the Giants as a former player is what for you right now?
Well, you said Dallas gave them an opportunity late. Dallas gave them an opportunity early. It was a 6-point ball game where the Cowboys decided they were going to go for it from their own 44-yard line. The Giants get a stop. And then all of a sudden, 3 plays later, they got a punt. They could only muster up 2 yards. They had to punt, and they got the ball in plus territory. It just shows you how bad they were. Then on the screenplay that they try to set up to Devin Singletary, you got Drew Lock throwing a pick to DeMarvion Overshown. Now, that was a hell of a play by Overshown, tipping it to himself, catching it and housing it. But, I mean, those things happen time after time, even early in the second half. You had Drew Lock take off, run the ball. He gets stripped by Aaron Kendricks. All of a sudden, the Cowboys got it going the other way. It was too many mistakes that the New York Giants made. And then the Cowboys' mistakes, it didn't feel like the Giants did enough to capitalize on them. So it's frustrating as a Giants fan, and it doesn't feel like much about the future is going to change. You have players now looking despondent. Malik Neighbors doesn't look like he's locked in. You know, you had the Dexter Lawrence injury, but we don't know what's going to happen with him at the elbow. Says like he felt good enough to play, but it's just so much going on right now, and it's hard to have confidence that Brian Daboll is going to be able to get this team to pull out of this nosedive.
Yeah, you mentioned the self-sabotage by the Giants. Tom Brady talked about it on the broadcast when he was talking about all the penalties for the Giants, about how you can't win going backwards. And to me, that's coaching. Having the discipline needed in order to put your team in a position to win is about coaching. And we spent a lot of today talking about the future of Matt Eberflus, but I can't imagine now that the Giants have lost 7 straight games and we don't seem to be able to point to anything down the stretch here where we think they're going to be able to turn it around or show any sort of fight or the amount of fight needed, I should say, in order to get Brian Daboll to return next season. I think, unfortunately, the writing is on the wall for him.
Well, let's talk about that for a second before we get to the Cowboys side of this. The New York Giants and Brian Daboll, 2 wins this year. Matt Eberflus, the coach we've been talking about all morning, has double the amount of wins as Brian Daboll this year. Mm-hmm. Brian Daboll's had a winning season, went to the playoffs. John Mara, the owner of the team, kind of gave he and Joe Shane, the general manager, a vote of confidence a few weeks ago. Is Daboll done?
Yeah.
If he is he done now?
That vote of confidence is the kiss of death. He should be done now. They're not going to win another game. They're going to go 2-15.
Oh,
gosh.
So what's the point in keeping them right? They're not going to win another game. They're done.
They're the first team eliminated from the playoffs, by the way, on a side note.
Yeah, so I guess what's the point of keeping him around? You know he's not going to be your head coach next year. You know that. I mean, it feels like he's lost the locker room given some of the quotes that we've had. So if your ownership and you've already made a decision that is questionable in the eyes of a lot of your players on your team when they decided to cut Daniel Jones and bench him and then cut him, you got to do something to establish that credibility and that rapport with those players in that locker room. And to me, it would be firing the head coach, Brian Daboll.
The other team obviously deserves some credit here, the Dallas Cowboys, who are now 5-7. After the game, Micah Parsons on Fox said that everybody's been counting us out. I believe we're going to turn it around and make a run. There's been a lot of trash talk out there talking about what difference we can make. I'm telling y'all right now, we're coming. If you think about the Cowboys in a glass half full perspective, which is rare that we ever can do such a thing, they are currently playing and have played, let's do it that way, have played throughout this season with what? Both top cornerbacks out, both top front 7 guys out, and their quarterback out. And they're 2 games under 500 now at 5-7 with a backup quarterback. And the rest of the way, their schedule is favorable. Cincinnati, Carolina, Tampa, Philly, Washington.
How is that favorable?
Right?
They could lose all of those games.
Well, it's favorable in a both ways perspective. It's favorable for who they're playing, and it's favorable for the team that is playing them.
That's funny you say that because I look at a team that just got their first home win of the season yesterday. It's their first win at home in almost a year. And I look at the remaining schedule versus Cincinnati and Joe Burrow versus Carolina, who played Kansas City pretty tough last week, versus Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks, one of the hottest teams in the NFL and the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, and say, wow, the Dallas Cowboys could lose out.
Do you realize what just happened, Smalls?
I don't.
I took for 1 second a glass half full approach, and you could not even entertain the idea of the glass half full approach of the Cowboys.
Okay, great. You won 2 games in a row. Micah Parsons says we're coming. Where are you going? Home? I mean, where are you going? I think that they could lose out.
We're coming home.
Seriously.
I love that song.
It's a great song. It's a great song. And I appreciate Micah Parsons feeling confident in the team after they won 2 games and trying to rally his team. And that's what leaders do, is they try to instill confidence in their peers. But I just don't see it. I don't think maybe Carolina, but even that game is not a gimme for the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Why not? Why not a few wins in there, Smalls? Why not
where?
2
Show
more?
me. Which ones?
Okay. Bengals at home.
There's no way.
Why there's no way?
There's
we wrote them off in
They
week
won
2.
1 game at home in basically the past calendar year, and Joe Burrow is still the quarterback of the Bengals.
They're hot. Speaking of hot, they're hot. At Carolina. Why can't they win that?
Why can't Carolina win that?
Okay, I understand that. But
Bryce Young's playing better. This is a team that's starting to believe a little bit. Who's better, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Dallas Cowboys?
Okay,
they have the Chiefs on the ropes. Come on.
But I have to believe. CC, help me with this. Maybe I'm wrong. I have to believe when you're a stinky team, which you never played on a stinky team. But if you're a stinky team, playing the Chiefs sometimes could actually be easier than playing the Cowboys because it is literally your Super Bowl.
But you're playing the Cowboys.
Right, so they would be an attention grabber too. Thus,
totally.
It's the Cowboys.
This is unbelievable. I could not get 30 seconds of glass half full with the Dallas Cowboys before you both ripped my head off for even considering a glass half full approach with this team.
Like you won 2 in a row. Congrats.
the Cowboys are not winning 5 straight games. They're not. That's not going to happen. That's what they would. That's essentially what they would have to do. They would have to win 5 straight games in order to punch their ticket to the playoffs. It ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen for the Dallas Cowboys. It's not. So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Michael Parsons. I guess you gotta sell yourself on trying to, have something to play for other than pride. And by being able to hold on to some sliver of hope that you could sneak your way into the postseason might be enough to get the best version of these guys going down the stretch, even though they're starting with a backup quarterback. So I guess that's what's going on, the psychology of the players in that locker room. But the Cowboys season has been over for a while now. Mm-hmm. And right now you're just trying to make a determination on who's going to be a part of your future. And, of course, squarely in the crosshairs of that question is head coach Mike McCarthy.
I wonder if it's also as an add-on to that, CC, is that Michael Parsons, realized, what am I doing questioning everybody? Let me just go the opposite for a little bit and try to support everybody here. Coming up, soft season for one team. It may not be the
individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Carlin versus Joe on ESPN Radio.
Joe Buck, I know your friends would occasionally text you a word to work into the broadcast.
It's easier to do it on the local broadcast. So when my friends would give me a word like octopus, I would just swallow my pride and at the end of the inning say, and after 4, the Cardinals lead the Pirates 4-2, octopus.
Carlin versus Joe. Weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
The SEC on ABC. It's Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week.
Little stirs the soul like a rivalry.
At 3:30, Auburn and 13th ranked Alabama battle in the Iron Bowl, presented by Burger King.
This rivalry carries great significance.
In primetime, number 3 Texas and 20th ranked Texas A&M renew their rivalry on Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One.
With that conference championship spot on the line.
The SEC on ABC, Saturday at 3:30 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and streaming on ESPN+.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Gabe Neitzel.
The Jets not appearing in the playoff streak has gone on for so long, 2010, 14 seasons. It wasn't that long ago that the Giants won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. That was the only playoff win they've had since that second Super Bowl win that they had with Eli Manning. So it hasn't been good. And when you make decisions like the Giants have, yes, they probably haven't been as big as blowing up the way they have in New York because Aaron Rodgers is always going to take a lot of that oxygen. But you're releasing your quarterback in the middle of the season, less than 2 years after you gave him $160 million. 4 years, $160 million. You're moving on from that. One of the free agents you decided you didn't want to bring back leads the league in rushing, and we just talked about earlier in the show, might be the MVP of the league in Saquon Barkley. Good teams who draft really good players that have that type of potential, you don't let those guys walk.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Off back, looking, throwing, middle end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Goff takes the snap, throws into the wide open touchdown, Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta, second of the day. Williams with 6, takes the snap. This could be the final play of the game. Throws it deep downfield. It is up to grabs and incomplete. That's it.
I felt good about us holding. I just didn't know how it was going to play out.
It's awesome. It's a memory I'll have forever.
Na 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 na. 97-1, the ticket. Highlights from yesterday. NFL. We are unsportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Before we dive into some of the games from yesterday, I must say, hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Rob Lorenzo, who does our social and digital for us, he does such a great job, except he's really screwed up today. And CC, you're lucky you're not here because you and I together may mug Rob on this. He brought in his leftover Chinese food from yesterday. What?
You know I don't eat leftovers.
I can't even get out the description before you give me the ugh on this. It's that gross?
Yeah, leftovers. It's the weirdest thing about me that I don't eat leftovers.
Wait, any leftovers?
Any leftovers.
Rob took his family that's in from Ohio. Instead of doing the traditional Thanksgiving, he's like, you know what? Let's go to authentic Chinese food in New York City, which is phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing.
And he brought in the leftovers. Oh, my, it smells so good right now. I'm very distracted. Wait, you're out on that, CC?
I'm not out on leftovers, but leftover Chinese, I don't know. It's a little dicey.
I agree.
A little dicey.
What is happening
I don't know
here?
if I'm getting on board with that. No, I love leftovers. Listen, the day after Thanksgiving is even better because all of the seasoning has set in a little bit more. So I'm excited about the eats. But day after leftover Chinese food, feels a little sketchy.
I will say this, Cece, you hit on something. I will not eat any leftovers that were once hot, then got cold, and then you have to reheat up, except for the day after Thanksgiving when you have the turkey and you hit it with a Hawaiian roll and a little Miracle Whip. That is a little mustard. Oh my gosh, elite.
So I have a
jar. You did not have to mustard on the beat.
That was Sam. That was Sam dropped to use a
That's
drop
a jar.
on that.
That's a jar. You officially owe $1.
Sam and Mikey C put it in there.
But
Nope,
that was you.
That was you.
Sam, stay out of this.
The day after Thanksgiving, when you have the turkey on the Hawaiian roll, that's the only leftover I can get down with.
Wait a minute, Smalls. Your favorite restaurant right now in New York City is the one. I forgot the name of this. Whatever that restaurant is that you like. The oh my God, it's with a C.
Oh, the corner store?
No, the other one that restaurant. You're telling me?
Yeah, that one.
You talked about it the other day. I don't remember the name.
Checky's?
No. Anyway, point is that restaurant.
This is going great for you.
No, I'm going to ask a question.
Gosh.
That restaurant.
What's the point, Ev?
If you had your favorite restaurant, your favorite meal, and you had leftovers, you wouldn't bring it home?
No, I give it to whoever my dining companion is. Which makes me a great dining companion because I still pay the entirety of my bill, and then you get half my meal because I usually don't eat the whole thing.
All right. Well, let's go to lunch. All right. Green Bay, your squad, beat Miami yesterday, 30-17. They were up 27-3 in the game. The Miami Dolphins have now lost 12 straight regular season games in a row where kickoff temperatures are under 40 degrees. Their head coach, Mike McDaniel, on the cold weather narrative.
That's the thing with narratives. There's one way to change them. And so, my expectation would be, those who, the naysayers you prove them right, they'll be louder. So that's part of the territory. You carry that until you do something about it. And unfortunately, we didn't tonight.
All right. Their linebacker is Jordan Brooks. Here's what he had to say postgame.
I felt like when we let the elements control the way that we played, I
thought we were soft. Simple as that. I thought we were soft today. I don't know if guys was too cold. Like, I don't know what it was, but I felt like the elements played a part in how we played as a group. And so, and that was the results that we got.
Elements because of the weather, because of the conditions, soft in a loss that puts your team now at 5-7. CeCe, how do you take these comments made by both McDaniel and Brooks?
Well, first of all, Jordan Brooks is not wrong. They were soft. And all you needed to know about the mind state of the Miami Dolphins was how Tyreek Hill looked on the sideline with that jacket on. They were disinterested in playing a football game where it was 20 degrees and it was snowing. They wanted no parts of it. And it showed up in terms of the ball handling. You saw it with the muff pump by Malik Washington early on in the game that set up a point-blank touchdown opportunity for the Packers offense. You saw it when Tua airmailed that throw on 4th and 5 when they got the ball on the 38-yard line going in. You saw it in the situations with all of the missed tackles on ball carriers from the Green Bay Packers. They didn't do a great job wrapping up. So all of those things come as a result of not being ready from a mental standpoint to deal with the elements as well as the opponent. We always talk about this. A cold player is not a fast player, but also physicality starts to show up when the weather gets colder. And you saw the difference between the two teams yesterday. So the Miami Dolphins are who I thought they were, which is a basketball team and a track team masquerading as a football team. And that's why they will always struggle when it comes to having to go outdoors this time of year and beat quality opponents.
You mentioned those missed tackles, CeCe, and that was one of the stats coming out of the game that really popped to me. The Dolphins missed 20 tackles in this loss, which directly contributed to 132 additional yards for the Packers. Completely undisciplined. And when I think of tough teams, of course, I think of the physicality, but I also think of a culture and a mentality of it doesn't matter what is going to come our way. We're going to be able to find a way to be competitive. And when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, not only do we look to Tua's record and the Dolphins' records in cold games and not think that they have a chance there, but against teams who are good. We are still yet to feel like the Dolphins can actually compete against good football teams. And to me, that is a sign that you don't have the requisite physical and mental toughness needed in order to actually be a contender.
I just got an amazing text message from my buddy who's a Hall of Famer, Derek Brooks, okay, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, all-time great player. He just texted me, "Good morning. I hated the cold weather narrative against us, too, until we beat Chicago and Philly in our Super Bowl year." I mean, that is a badass. Yeah, until you do it and you win a Super Bowl, that playing in Tampa, cold weather narrative there, absolutely. But you got to, as CeCe said, you got to do something with it, right? They're 5-7. They're now not even going to give themselves an opportunity to do something with it. And Mike,
but Ev, here's a perfect example, though. It's a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter. You're down by 16 points. You've got the ball on goal to go from the 1-yard line, and your coach decides, I'm going to call 2 pass plays.
Okay, wait, stop there for a second, CeCe. Does that indicate, I don't know any other way of asking this, lack of toughness? In other words, if your goal to go, the thought process would be run 100 runs in a row until you get in the end zone.
One would think.
No, I'm serious. Like, okay, your goal to go, use your big strong offensive line and a big physical running back, get in the end zone, don't try to be cute, nothing. Just get the ball in the end zone. So if I were to make you, by the way, the Dolphins fans, as much as you've been critical of them this year, CeCe, they would take you over Chris Greer as their general manager yesterday. They would pay your salary immediately to run their team. They are not a fan of Chris Greer, and they know that you could do a better job. So I'm going to put you as GM of the Dolphins. As crazy as this may sound, if you're looking at free agent acquisitions, do you have to consider signing players who played in cold weather and were successful? So in those moments when you go into cold weather, they can at least explain, here's how we get it done?
You know what? I want to say that you don't need to consider that because you're going to be able to get guys acclimated to whatever conditions they need to based on how you practice. But I was looking at the Green Bay Packers roster, especially their skill position players yesterday. Tucker Kraft, South Dakota. Christian Watson, North Dakota State. Jaden Reed, Michigan State. Like these are the key ball handlers for the Green Bay Packers, and they played in cold weather places in college.
Interesting, very interesting.
So maybe that matters a little bit, especially when it comes to an offense that is centered around their quarterback Jordan Love, making sure that you got guys that know how to catch the football and know how to hang on to the football when you have to deal with those elements. So maybe there is something to trying to weatherproof your team, but here's the thing. Even if you can't get guys from cold weather places, you can get physically tough football players because guess what? Physicality travels anywhere. And you can win a lot of games by being more physical and being more disciplined. And that was not the Miami Dolphins last night. They say fatigue makes cowards of us all. Well, apparently, if you play for the Miami Dolphins, the cold does too. And something about that has to change if they're going to get to where they want to go. We saw it last year in the playoffs in Kansas City. You know, the other teams that are good in the playoffs are in cold weather places. The Buffalo Bills, cold up there in Orchard Park.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens, cold in Baltimore in January. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to deal with that if you're the Miami Dolphins in order to get to a Super Bowl. So something about how you build your football team has to change.
It's very interesting. And you know what? They were kind of, I don't want to say turning their nose up at it this week, but Mike McDaniel makes jokes. Mike McDaniel is tongue-in-cheek a lot. And on Tuesday in his press conference, he was asked about how they're going to handle the weather for the game last night that they lost to Green Bay under 40 degrees. Here's what McDaniel said on Tuesday.
You know, I was just going to carry ice cubes in my pockets and throw them at players all week. It's nothing revolutionary. I'm not going to throw it out there for the world and act like we've checked the box of we've got this answered.
I mean, maybe there needs to be something revolutionary. If your player is saying that you're soft in the elements, CeCe's pointing out like how cold they look on the sidelines, and your record for the last 12 games in under 40 degrees, 0-12.
When do we stop giving Mike McDaniel a pass, rather?
Well, I will give our show credit on one thing. Maybe many things, but in this specific case, we said very early on, Mike McDaniel with the Miami Dolphins record-wise will pretty much be the same as Brian Flores. He just comes off more likable to the quarterback. They're 5-7.
You can be likable until you're joking about throwing ice at players, and then you get blitzed by the Lions on Thanksgiving, and then it looks ridiculous. Like then at some point we have to question him a little bit and be like, all right, what are we actually getting from this guy?
I think CeCe said it a while ago, and it was a phenomenal comment. Miami Dolphins hired Mike McDaniel for Tua. They hired Brian Flores for the football team. Tua is at his best when Mike McDaniel is there, and vice versa. When you're thinking about building a football team, we have now uncovered many ways the Miami Dolphins have gone about this incorrectly, right? We've talked about the relying on the unreliable, which is Tua's health. We've talked about playing fast when you're in the cold, which cannot be done. We've talked about the idea of building a roster that could play in the cold, right, which they have proven not to do. The roster composition is a major problem for this team. I don't think that's anything new. It's just illuminated week by week with moments like this, especially when they're in the cold. All right, coming up, could the MVP be decided this weekend? We'll get to that next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
This week on Football Sunday on ESPN Radio.
The things that you need to win a championship in this league. The LA Chargers, they got all the elements.
Justin Herbert leads the Los Angeles Chargers into Atlanta to face the NFC South leading Falcons.
This is gone for the Atlanta touchdown.
Coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern with kickoff at 1 Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. More on Sportsmanlike coming up next. FX's Grotesquerie.
This killer is someone who knows anatomy.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Detective, you have an entire family murdered.
Niecy Nash Betts.
The monster is out here.
Courtney B. Vance.
God knows what darkness we let in.
And Travis Kelce.
There's no future after this.
FX's Grotesquerie. All new Wednesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Surprise!
raise your expenses this month were way higher than you expected. Also, you forgot to renew your website domain, and now you're in a bidding war.
You should see the look on your face.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Plus, the fridge died in the break room, and now everything smells weird. All right.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Attention all truck drivers looking for a new opportunity with great pay and amazing benefits. Gale Frericks Trucking has got you covered. Join their team, receive a $4,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $4,000 just for coming on board. Plus, enjoy a $1,200 gross weekly pay guarantee. Drive their state-of-the-art Freightliner Cascadia trucks equipped with a revolutionary system designed to reduce weight and downtime. Get home every weekend and some nights during the week with paid vacations and holidays. They offer company-sponsored health insurance and all the benefits you deserve. Regional drivers get first priority. Don't wait. Apply in person at Dedicated Diesel, 1313 Triumph Drive, Urbana, or call Tim at 765-505-1295. That's 765-505-1295. Start your journey today with Gale Frericks Trucking.
Since 1937, Citizens Equity First Credit Union, or CEFCU, has been serving its 385,000 owners with something better than banking. We believe in an open and honest approach to handling your money. Are you ready for your next car? Enjoy low interest rates on auto loans tailored just for you. Remember, we're not a bank. We're better. Experience the CEFCU difference today, where you're not just a customer, you're an owner. Visit CEFCU.com for more details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Make this holiday season truly magical with Champaign-Urbana Ballet's The Nutcracker, December 5th through the 8th. Presented in partnership with Krannert Center for the Performing Arts, Area-Wide Technologies, Bill Bass Foundation, Stone Ridge Dairy, Two Men and a Truck, and Champaign Ballet Academy. Tickets at the Krannert Center box office or cuballet.com. Experience the unforgettable story, music, dancing, and tradition of CU Ballet's The Nutcracker.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Unsportsmanlike.
In the middle of July, Evan's going to have a hoodie and a jacket on.
I ran 4 miles yesterday, so I'm trying to not have to do that.
Did you do that in a hoodie and a jacket too?
I did wear a hoodie, God's honest truth. I swear to God.
It was in the high 70s.
With a cut-off hoodie, like a Belichick hoodie.
Run in a Belichick hoodie?
Not normally, but I ran outside yesterday.
That's very on brand for you.
I have the cut-off Belichick hoodie. I wanted to sweat more, because if you wear the sweatshirt, you sweat
All right,
more.
Rocky.
Did 5 miles yesterday. Didn't want to, but I said on the air I'll do 5 miles. So in my head, I'm like, I got to live up to what I said.
Did you do it outside?
No. I
was going to say it was raining all day.
Tried 5 miles. Eagles Ravens this weekend. Yet another game of the year. We've had a lot of game of the years. This feels like a game of the year. Is the MVP on the line with this game this weekend, guys?
I think it could be a situation where Lamar Jackson, continues to separate himself. He's got to get a win. He's got to win his division. If they get the AFC North title, then I think Lamar Jackson will run away with the MVP. But we haven't seen an MVP in a really long time that hasn't won their own division. You got to go back to Barry Sanders back in the day, the last time we saw somebody not win their division and win the MVP. I think that was in 1997. So if you're Lamar Jackson, this is an opportunity against what has been the best team in football over the last month and a half to make the case that you are the best player in all of football.
Is it an opportunity for Saquon to do the same thing versus this Ravens defense? Because he's been absolutely outstanding so far this season. And I keep thinking, what does he have to continue to do in order to lock this thing up? Because it is more improbable for a running back to win the award in favor of a quarterback. So what does Saquon have to continue to do? Obviously continue the production at the same rate that he is. But I think having big games against the guy or guys that will be in front of you potentially for this award could go a long way.
Here's the problem, though, Smalls. we're acting as if the Ravens defense is the typical Ravens defense. Aren't you supposed to have a big game against this Ravens defense?
Absolutely. You should. Even though they've taken steps in the right direction, Saquon should feast against this defense.
So we've talked about like the automatic triggers for things in sports, like the automatic trigger for a quarterback like Lamar, 2 MVPs, automatic trigger Hall of Fame, right? Mm-hmm. Is there an automatic trigger for MVP for a running back? Is it you have to break the records on yardage? Yes. Like what? So what is that automatic trigger?
You got to break the record. You have to break the record, and you have to hope that it's a down year for quarterbacks. And what I'll say is this. 2 quarterbacks that could run away with it are Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Well, Joe Burrow is kind of disqualified because his team is so bad. And then Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't win a division, is also disqualified. So it becomes a conversation around how important has Saquon Barkley been to the Eagles relative to what we've seen from Josh Allen and Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes. And I think there is a case to be made for Saquon Barkley if he breaks the single season rushing record of 2,105 yards. He's on pace right now for 2,151 yards. Now, a big part of his success has been the Eagles' offensive line. You would like to give all of those guys a medal up front, too, because Saquon Barkley has 1,000 yards from scrimmage before contact. So those guys are doing the job, too. But I think what we've seen from Saquon Barkley, the highlight moments, the spin and then backwards leap over a defender, the 2 house calls from 70-plus yards that we saw against the Rams in a primetime game on Sunday night, all of those moments add up to the MVP narrative. And that's a big part of being able to win the award. It's capturing the conscience of national it's capturing the conscience of the nation and other fan bases in those big-time moments. And Saquon Barkley, to this point, has done that. And a win this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens continues that.
Do you think the fact that he went from the Giants to the Eagles and it was so highly publicized, the fact that he was very public about saying that he loved the Giants, wanted to be a Giant for life, they didn't believe that he was worth it, and he goes to the Eagles and then is having this success, does that contribute to this at all, in addition to obviously the production? Because I do think that there sometimes becomes fatigue with the same guy winning the award like Lamar. And I'm just wondering, you talked, CC, about being in the consciousness. Well, we were already conscious of Saquon before, not only because he's a star player, but because of the circumstances that led him to Philly. Does that have anything to do with this at all?
Well, I guess the whole point of it all is, Smalls, if he was so good, then why the Giants let him go? If he was an MVP player, then why they let him go? So I think this is Saquon Barkley's retort or response to that question, the season that he's been able to put together. So I do think he was somewhat of a sympathetic figure, especially after the Hard Knocks situation and how that all bared itself out. Remember, Saquon said he wanted to be a Giant for life. He didn't want to leave, but the organization showed him the door, in effect, by not offering him a market-level contract. So he goes down the road and he sets the world on fire. That all helps him, but I don't think that Saquon's absence from the Giants bolsters his case for winning MVP. I think he has to be special. I think he has to be exceptional with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's got to hope that no other quarterback takes advantage of the vacuum that will be there if Lamar Jackson doesn't win his division.
2 things on this. Number one, I don't know if it's as much him wanting to be on the Giants or wanting to be on the Giants as much as it is just Hard Knocks, the fact that we saw it all play out. I think that's because, again, I don't understand why we just make it about Saquon and not Derrick Henry, who's also having a great year for Baltimore. And we never give Tennessee a hard time for saying goodbye to him, but we always give the Giants a hard time. And I think it's just because of the Hard Knocks aspect. The second part I just wanted to bring up, when we're looking at the Eagles and the Ravens, it is a very, very fair conversation to have it about Saquon versus Lamar for MVP. CeCe, you mentioned the idea of, hey, Burrow is having a great individual season. Team success would not allow for that trigger to win MVP. Are we eliminating Josh Allen from the conversation, or where are we with him? Because I still think he's got an outside shot. If they win the division, if they somehow get the number 1 seed, and he has under 10 interceptions this season on the whole, and let's say over 25 touchdowns, is there a chance that Josh Allen is in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a chance to be in the mix. I think he's got, 23 total touchdowns to 5 picks, something like that. So he's got a chance to be in the conversation, but I don't think anybody looks at the season that he's having and says that it is, on the same level as what we've seen from Lamar Jackson, what we've seen from Saquon Barkley, hell, what we've seen from Joe Burrow. So I think there is a part of this that works against Josh Allen in terms of the overall numbers not being at the same level as some other quarterbacks that we would deem in his peer group, right? So I think there creates this default that, well, Josh Allen can't be the MVP because we're seeing other quarterbacks that have double-digit wins from a team perspective, but that have significantly better numbers. Whereas with Saquon Barkley, it feels like he separated himself from everybody else, including Derrick Henry, as the best running back in football and maybe even the best non-quarterback in the sport.
We talk about real or fake a lot. We're going to do a real or fake segment coming up, and obviously that stems initially from the Farm Fresh Christmas trees that we talk about the real ones versus the fake ones there. How many real MVP candidates are there right now? Saquon, Lamar, Josh Allen outside looking in.
Yeah.
I guess do we always
Mahomes
I was going to say,
there?
we always have to consider
If they go 16-1.
What about Goff? Are we putting Goff in there?
He should be in the conversation.
Because if they go 16-1,
if they go 16-1, yeah.
Because what would that mean? That would mean they would finish the year with what? So they have 10 straight wins now. So we fixed. That would be a 16. Wait, that would be a 16-game winning? No. Yeah, that would be a 16-game winning streak.
15 game winning streak, right? 15.
Yeah, 15.
15-game winning streak to finish the season.
2.
Wow. Yeah. Goff has to be on there then.
Has to be.
Yeah.
And with the way, and by the way, and with the way this offense has been crushing teams.
Yeah.
Sometimes putting up more than 50 points on teams, he's absolutely in the conversation.
So wait, we have Lamar, Saquon, Allen, Goff, and Mahomes. We have 5 in our minds legit MVP candidates. Derrick Henry is not.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's not, no.
And Burrow, because of team success, is not?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
And is there anyone else you want to slip in there? Stroud, obviously not this year. Herbert has had a good year, not MVP. Kyler's had a much improved year, not MVP.
The conversation around Jaden Daniels has fallen off.
Jordan Love, much better over the last couple. No way.
Too many interceptions.
Jalen Hurts, people would give it to Saquon. So we're sitting here right now saying there's 5, as we sit here today, November 29th, 5 legit MVP candidates for the rest of the season. Makes sense. Makes sense. We'll do a little round of real or fake coming up next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
It's rivalry week in college football. Heated rivals go head-to-head at the Los Angeles Coliseum when USC faces Notre Dame, who sit one win from clinching a spot in the college football playoff. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3 Eastern, with kickoff at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app, presented by Dr. Pepper. Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
Hey folks, when it comes to Christmas trees, don't get played by foreign plastic. Just like you wouldn't replace a prize QB with a mannequin. Don't replace American Farm Fresh trees with fake foreign plastic. These farm families are the MVPs of Christmas, growing champions right here on American soil. They're not sitting on the bench. They're out there every day growing real Christmas traditions. Make the winning choice, Farm Fresh Christmas trees, not foreign plastic that pollutes. Visit GetRealKeepItReal.com to find your local farm MVP.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Jets is hiring. Call 217-352-9992 or stop into 1907 West Springfield Avenue near Round Barn in Champaign. Jets is open till 10 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays till midnight. Are you looking for a side hustle? Here's Josh from Jets talking about the benefits of doing deliveries.
When I was a delivery driver, it was amazing how much the actual amount of money I had just shot right up. It's hard to describe. You have money in your pocket every single day.
For details on joining the team, visit jetspizza.com.
The SEC on ABC. It's Fairfield by Marriott Rivalry Week.
Little stirs the soul like a rivalry.
At 3:30, Auburn and 13th ranked Alabama battle in the Iron Bowl, presented by Burger King.
This rivalry carries great significance.
In primetime, number 3 Texas and 20th ranked Texas A&M renew their rivalry on Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One.
With the conference championship spot on the line.
The SEC on ABC, Saturday at 3:30 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern and streaming on ESPN+.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up. The food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Is it real?
They're real and they're spectacular.
Or is it fake? This is Real versus Fake.
Real versus Fake, brought to you by Real Christmas Trees. Get real and keep it real this holiday season by buying real Christmas trees wherever real Christmas trees are sold. For more info, visit GetRealKeepItReal.com. You don't want those fake trees. You want the real ones, the smell, the touch. That's Christmas. The real tree, not the fake tree.
Well, let's talk about real or fake NFL teams. And today the theme is, are these teams actual threats to win the Super Bowl? That's the theme. So, Evan, we'll start with you. Texans, real or fake?
Absolutely 1,000% for the 24-25 season, fake. Now, 25, 26 and beyond, very real, but right now, very fake.
Yeah, I'm with Evan on this one. The Texans are fakers. Hard to believe in them. They're 21st in third down conversions on offense, 20th in the red zone, and 30th in red zone defense. Not great. And then on top of that, they're letting their quarterback get hit at a ridiculous rate. C.J. Stroud has taken 39 sacks this season. Can't take you seriously if you can't protect your quarterback.
Cece, we'll stick with you. I love this one. I think this one's the most interesting one on the board. The 9-2 Minnesota Vikings. Are they real or are they fake?
Ooh, I'm actually going to go with real. I like what the Minnesota Vikings have done. I mean, they started the season on a 5-game win streak. They're currently on a 4-game win streak, and they've shown that they're going to be consistent in terms of their formula for success. They're going to throw a lot of in-breaking routes to those receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. Those guys can do damage when they get the ball in their hands, but then also their defense is going to do a great job at creating negative plays and takeaways. They've been incredibly consistent in that regard, which is really hard to do. I'm starting to trust this Minnesota Vikings team because week in, week out, Kevin O'Connell finds a path for his team to be successful regardless of who their opponent is.
I am going to say fake. I just have a hard time believing, despite how well coached they are. Kevin O'Connell's phenomenal on offense. Brian Flores, phenomenal on defense. O'Connell, great overall head coach so far in his career. It just feels like they're a little tiny bit away. And considering that division and how good it is with Green Bay and Detroit, I got to go fake. I feel badly saying that, though. And I hope I'm wrong.
Evan, they're number one in takeaways and they're top 10 on offense and defense in both yards and points.
I know. I just don't know what it is. Overall, I feel like they're an inch away, and I don't know how they make up that inch. I am fascinated, by the way, on a side note with them. If you're Daniel Jones and you sign there, if Sam Darnold gets a big deal elsewhere this offseason, hypothetically, maybe you just stay in Minnesota. Everybody thinks it's like kind of a bridge to get somewhere else. Maybe you just stay and compete with J.J. McCarthy next year.
Learn from Cassie.
Yeah, just keep it going. Why not?
Well, let's stick in the NFC North. Cece, the Green Bay Packers, are they real or fake?
Oh, the Packers are real. They are absolutely real. I mean, the defense is absolutely phenomenal. Those guys are flying around. They do a great job at being able to put pressure on the opponent's quarterbacks. But the most impressive part about this Packers team in comparison to those in the past coached by Matt LaFleur is how they can run the football. Now, they didn't have a lot of success last night rushing the football in the way of yards, but they still had 19 rush attempts by Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs had 100 yards from scrimmage. So when you can have that outlet for your quarterback, when it's not Jordan Love having to drop back 40 or 50 times to win you a football game, I think it lends itself to getting a more explosive Packers offense. And with their defense now coming to the party as well, this is a team that can pose a lot of problems for one of the juggernauts in the NFC in a one-game season once we get to the playoffs.
Real versus fake brought to you by Real Christmas Trees. GetRealKeepItReal.com. Smallest answer to your question about the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely real. You are getting to a point where your team, where if you don't make it to the Super Bowl, you have a right to be disappointed. Not relative to change. I'm not saying bust.
Right.
Super Bowl or bust would be LaFleur's gone, Love's gone. No. Just like, hey, we're kind of good enough to go there. And I think you have every right to feel that way.
They definitely feel like they have a shot. Now, what about the 6-5 Atlanta Falcons? They're sitting there atop the NFC South, but that doesn't say much considering the division.
Stop. Fake. Give
Evan?
me a break.
Fake.
Give me a break. Come on.
As fake as the turf as they play on in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's fake.
I'm already starting to think about how Penix looks with this team, and I like Kirk Cousins. But I love transactional parts of sports, and now I'm thinking about, could Kirk Cousins once again be the hottest quarterback available this offseason? Second straight year.
Fake is those handbags they selling on Canal Street. It's fake.
Okay, well, what about, CC, the Seattle Seahawks? 6-5, tied for the top of the NFC West with the Arizona Cardinals. That division feels like it's up for grabs for anybody, but are they real or fake?
I'm going to say fake. As much as I respect what Mike McDonald has done in his first season as a head coach, and as much as I respect how Geno has reshaped his career, I'm going to say fake. I just think that this team is incredibly inconsistent when it comes to being able to run the football. And to ask Geno Smith to have to drop back as much as they've asked him to and win football games, I just think that's a formula that's not sustainable. So as great as the last couple of weeks have been with the wins that they had coming off of their bye week, I can't fully buy into this version of the Seattle Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks are real overachievers and fake Super Bowl candidates. You just can't go there with them. But I give them all the credit in the world. I think we had a moment on our show this week. Go back on the podcast wherever you find their podcasts. And we just realized, you know what? They haven't torn down a culture at any point, despite quarterback changing and coaches changes. They've had a lot of 500 or better seasons, and even sometimes in their losing seasons, they won the division. that is a healthy franchise, I think, all across the board, but they're not Super Bowl contenders.
Evan, we'll stick with you. What about the 8-3 Pittsburgh Steelers? Real or fake as far as actual threats to win the Super Bowl?
Why not? Real. I'm saying real. They have a Super Bowl winning head coach. They have a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson. Happy birthday, Russ. They have a dominant defense at times. They have the ability to run the football. They have a home stadium that is rocking. And they have fans that travel, as we saw in their game at Washington this year. I'm going real. Pittsburgh Steelers, real chance to go to the Super Bowl. And win.
Yeah, I'm gonna say real chance too. This has been the best quarterback play that Mike Tomlin has had since 2017. So it's been a long time. So I believe in what Russell Wilson has done. Now they've got to find a way to cash in when they get in the scoring zone. They're 31st in red zone offense. Something about that has to change if they're going to get to where we think they can go. But they have the best defense, arguably, in the NFL. They have the best special teams, not arguably, in the NFL. This is a team that is dominant in 2 of the 3 phases, and their offense with a championship-winning quarterback has become more than competent. So I'm going to say real.
So he's a championship-winning quarterback, but is he an elite quarterback? And that's where I wonder if they're actually real or if the result will be the same. Great regular season, winning regular season, get into the playoffs, early exit. Can you get that far into the playoffs to compete for a Super Bowl if your quarterback is not playing at an elite level?
Cop-out answer. He's elite for what Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith, their offensive coordinator, who's talking, I guess, to North Carolina as a college job potentially. He's elite for what they're trying to carry out. And I understand that's a cop-out answer. If you put him in a high-powered offense right now, probably not. If it's don't turn the ball over, give Najee Harris, Jalen Warren the ball, utilize Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, the big tight ends, and throw the moon balls for George Pickens, he is elite at doing that. And that's what they're asking him to do.
Okay, Cece, last one. The Los Angeles Chargers, 7-4 right now. Real or fake as far as actual threats to win the Super Bowl?
I got to say fake, and I hate doing that for a Jim Harbaugh coach team. They have all of the elements, but they can't beat good teams. They're 1-4 against teams with a winning record this season. Something about that has to change. They got an opportunity again this weekend on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons coming off a bye, and they've got a short week, but the NFL waits for no one, and the Atlanta Falcons don't care. So this is going to be a test for the Chargers by virtue of the schedule and by virtue of the record that the Falcons are bringing to the party. But they've got to beat good teams consistently for me to think that they're a threat to win the Super Bowl, especially coming out of the AFC.
Everything CeCe just said is obviously unbelievably fair, but I'm still going to go with real. I'm going to go with real because not that I expect them to get to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, but if you tell me, hey, give me a wild Super Bowl prediction, who could win it this year that
Browns?
No one sees coming? Well, yeah. That no one would see coming amongst the playoff teams. The Chargers feel like that. Like you're choosing Harbaugh, big, physical, elite quarterback, good running game if healthy. Like, I'll go real. What did you say, CeCe? Not with my chest? I'm going real, not with my chest, I guess is what I would say. Like, but next year, the year after, oh yeah, they ain't going anywhere. They ain't going anywhere. They're going to be good for a while. By the way, we are 18 minutes away from 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central Time. Why the heck am I giving you a time update as if you don't have a phone or a watch or a car clock right now? Matt Eberflus, the coach of the Bears, is supposed to meet with the media in 18 minutes. We thought there was a chance he would not be the coach in 18 minutes. There still is a chance. CeCe will give us his best bet. I'll give you the unsportsmanlike moments of the day, and maybe coming up we'll give you some breaking news. Who knows? We are Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
It's rivalry week in college football. Heated rivals go head-to-head at the Los Angeles Coliseum when USC faces Notre Dame, who sit one win from clinching a spot in the college football playoff. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3 Eastern, with kickoff at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app, presented by Dr. Pepper. Tuesday on the NBA on ESPN Radio. It's a mile-high clash between two of the NBA's best.
Jokic straight away for three. Okay, then. Jokic on a start.
Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets face Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors in an NBA Cup showdown.
Steph Curry about 35 feet from the hole.
The Warriors at the Nuggets. Coverage begins Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern with tip-off at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny.
The Commanders have one good receiver, Terry McLaurin. I think that's something when we talk about the proverbial cliff, so to speak, that this Commanders offense hit. Cliff deserves a ton of credit for how good the offense was, despite the fact that they really only had one receiver. If you are not finding ways to get that connection going, you do hit a wall against good defenses.
Check out The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Streaming December 2nd, only on Disney Plus. From the creators of The Mandalorian and the director of Spider-Man No Way Home comes a brand new series.
It's dangerous out here in space.
Join the crew.
We have to move fast
as they explore the galaxy.
We're not alone down here.
Don't miss the new Star Wars adventure.
Do you want to join me?
Skeleton Crew, streaming December 2nd. And now save big on the Disney Plus Hulu bundle with a Black Friday offer.
Carlin versus Joe on ESPN Radio.
Years ago, getting ready for the NFL season, I'm living in Vegas. I'm at this convention. These are professional handicappers. And one of the questions was asked, what media do you consume? And I remember multiple people said the same thing. Bill Barnwell.
Joe, I appreciate that. I wish I had more faith in my handicapping ability when I lived in Vegas.
Carlin versus Joe. Weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one. We're here. Here we are.
The NHL on ESPN Plus continues with a doubleheader Tuesday night. First, Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings take on David Pastrnak and the Bruins.
Overtime winner, Pastrnak.
Then Connor McDavid leads the Oilers into Vegas to face Jack Eichel and the Golden Knights.
He knows that he's an elite player.
That's hockey. ESPN Plus Hockey Night presented by Expedia. Red Wings Bruins at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then Oilers Golden Knights at 10. Tuesday night on ESPN Plus.
To win some money.
Canty's best bet
chasing that bag, y'all.
of the night.
I'm on the train with Evan Cohen. We're going to go with the game, the Chiefs over the Las Vegas Raiders. The number is at 13.5. We're going to tease that down to 9.5, and we're going to parlay that with Patrick Mahomes, 3 passing and rushing touchdowns, so 3 total touchdowns, plus Kansas City winning by 9.5. That 2-leg parlay pays out at plus 180. That is the play of the day.
We survived a terrible, terrible moment in our history.
The most unsportsmanlike moment of the day.
That was terrible.
Was not a great look.
All right, I got a few for you today, ladies and gentlemen, on Sportsmanlike Moments, as we are still on Matt Eberflus, head coach of the Bears, watch here. We're about 13 minutes away from his scheduled press conference. Everyone is speculating whether or not he is going to make it there as Bears head coach, or could maybe someone else take the podium. Yes, Smalls?
Well, I'm just thinking it would be very cruel to allow him to meet with the media, have to explain himself, take the battering that he's no doubtedly going to receive from them, and then fire him.
So if he makes it to that press conference today at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, is he the coach the rest of the season?
I would think so, yes. If he can somehow escape what happened yesterday, then what's the point of firing him at all during the season? But I also think it would be unnecessary if you think you're going to fire him within the next 24 hours to allow him to stand up there and meet with the media.
Can I say this? It's job number 1 to develop Caleb Williams this season. The last thing as the organization that you want is the rest of the guys in the locker room to quit because they don't believe in the head coach. Like, Matt Eberflus has done enough to create doubt in the minds of those players in that locker room. that their head coach is routinely putting them in positions to have success. If the players don't believe the head coach is doing that, then the players are not going to be incentivized to go out there and sacrifice and play the way that they need to in order to prop up Caleb Williams and aid his development. So, in effect, the Chicago Bears would be continuing to undermine the development of Caleb Williams if they kept Matt Eberflus as their head coach.
All right, we will keep you updated on that over the next 10 minutes or so. Unsportsmanlike moments. Number one, did anyone catch that the Detroit Lions, best team in the NFL arguably, had a designed play for an offensive tackle pass yesterday?
That was awesome, wasn't it?
Not catching a pass, throwing a pass. They had Penei Sewell, their stud offensive lineman, tackle eligible end around pitch for him to throw the football. And to his credit, proper decision making, no one was open. If I were Penei Sewell, no, let's make this CC. CC, you played in the NFL as a lineman on the defensive side. If you were Penei Sewell, how tempted would you be to knowingly make the wrong decision just to be able to say, I threw a pass in an NFL game?
That would be cool. That would absolutely be cool. But the unmitigated gall of Ben Johnson,
it's unbelievable.
He did that on the fringe, about to be in the red zone at the beginning of the game.
Right.
It was a nothing game. And he's pulling that one out of the bag. The level of disrespect that he showed the Chicago Bears and the rest of the NFL by doing that with Penei Sewell is crazy. And then Penei Sewell, by the way, running people over. Like, it was just like him carrying the ball was just like the icing on top of the cake. But him running over people was absolutely awesome.
A designed throwing pass, not receiving.
You know, we had that conversation about best players in football.
Yeah.
He's one of the best players in football. People don't talk about him because he's a lineman, but he's absolutely one of the best players in all of football, regardless of position.
All right, next one. Tom Brady yesterday on the Fox broadcast tried something that I got to be honest, I have never tried, and I don't really have the urge to try it. Turducken.
He loved it.
He did.
He was like, this is amazing.
Stunned. I was stunned he ate it.
Why? It's protein.
Because he eats like all of his TB12 type food.
But it's protein.
Have you ever had it?
I've never had it, but I'd definitely try it.
Cece, have you ever had turducken? I can't even say it. Turducken?
Yes, I've had turducken. I actually got a turkey leg or a piece of the turducken after our game against the New York Jets, and I want to say this is the 2007 season for the Dallas Cowboys. Nice. So I was one of the players eating the turducken doing the post-game interview.
Oh, we got to find this.
I was just thinking the same thing. We've got to go back and find the video.
I got a little turducken award. They sent me like a little turducken award thing. I've got it somewhere. Yeah, I've got it somewhere packed up in one of the boxes. You know, eventually when I unpack my office, I'll do that. But yeah, I got a little turducken award, and I had a chance to eat the turducken doing the post-game interview. I want to say it was DeMarcus Ware, Greg Ellis, and there was somebody else, maybe Terrence Newman and myself.
I'm furious that you waited until right now to tell us this information.
Get him, Pat.
Why did you wait to tell us this?
Well,
we could have done so much with this.
I don't understand. It just came up, Pat. I don't know what you want me to say.
No, you could have. No, I'm going to get with Pat on this. Cece, you could have said, "Hey guys, did you guys know that I was a part of the post-game turducken?" That would have been with Madden too, would it not have been?
That would have been the first thing I said today.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God!
Wow, Cece,
wait,
that's
I think
awesome.
Rob is finding this right now. We may have actually.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, in uniform. Let me have the computer up so I can see this. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to describe this. So you're right. So I see CeCe's on one side, DeMarcus Ware is in the middle, and it looks like Terrence Newman, 41. Would have been on the other side. CeCe has the microphone, like the headset microphone with the mic wrapped around the front of his mouth. He did not move the microphone, and he's eating the food with a massive spoon, and it definitively had to have gotten on the microphone on the field with a big table. It looks like mac and cheese, a pie, trophies. You've got all of the security. It looks like cops behind them,
nice,
just smiling like crazy at how cool this is. Yeah, we got the picture. Unbelievable. And he forgot to tell us that. Slips it in at the end of the show. Oh, did I ever tell you guys?
Oh, I see the little
Hey, did I
award,
ever
too.
tell you guys I won a Super Bowl? Yeah, we know that. You should actually say, instead of, hey, this is your resident Super Bowl champ, this is your resident turducken champ.
Let's
is what
call him
you
the
actually
Turducken
should
King.
say.
The Turducken
The resident
King.
turducken winner.
Yeah, seriously. At least for the last couple of days, that should have been on all of your promotional commercials that we record.
You're our Super Bowl champ / Turducken King.
Yeah. Next one. Pat Costello, on my way in this morning for Unsportsmanlike Moments, really motivated me, got me going, right?
Oh.
Like, that's the producer's job is kind of like the coach's job. Hey, put everybody in the best
So
position.
he's like Dan Campbell. He fired you up.
You know what he said to fire me up?
Tell me.
I feel like today is the most universally tired day of the year for every human being alive. Like, Pat, I seem to be fine, but that's what Pat put in my head of how tired everybody's going to be today on this show.
Well, it is true, though. You are eating all day. You are spending time with family, which, you have to exert a certain amount of effort to do. And the food that you're eating makes you tired. We know that the turkey makes you tired. So some people may catch a little nap during the day. Others may not. So if you have to turn around and go to work the next day, that's a lot of elements you're combating.
Yeah, a lot of people driving around all over the place, too.
Cece, you ever
Staying up
get,
late
you ever
to
get in the
watch
locker
football?
room and Parcells say to you, hey, everybody tired today? I mean, like, well, you guys must be sleepy. I mean, that was Pat's pep talk today.
It was a good show. It was fine. You didn't sound tired.
It was fine.
I never said I was tired. I said specifically, Pat, I'm fine. I don't feel any differently than any other day coming in today. But Pat wanted to get in my head about being tired. So there we go. On Sportsmanlike Moments of the Day. Are you tired, Pat? Is that what you were actually telling us?
I'm a little sleepy.
Uh-oh.
Canty, any more secrets you want to tell us before we get out of here this week? Or?
I have no secrets, Pat. There are no secrets, okay?
Are you actually like Vince Lombardi's nephew or something?
No, Canty, when he went to Paris last year, was with the Bradys, actually. He went with Tom Brady, just never chose to tell us that. The Canty and the Bradys. Greedy coming up next. Happy Thanksgiving. We are on to Monday on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. This Black Friday, trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
In Chinatown, nothing ever changes.
I feel like I'm a background character. I think that's called being a loser.
Based on the bestseller by Charles Yu.
Police are investigating a missing woman.
Miss Wu, I'm a detective. I need your help.
Why me?
You know Chinatown better than I do?
And from visionary director Taika Waititi comes a mind-bending new series.
If you want to be a part of this, why not be the hero? In Chinatown, Kung Fu can break on any moment.
The Hulu original series, Interior Chinatown. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
ESPN Plus.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility. Huddle up, the food's done. Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year.
The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.